Bob and Robert. Now they both study for an exam and they both get X amount of content knowledge in their head. They take the same exam on the same day. What grade did Bob get? He got B3. Now can you guess what grade will Robert get? Wow, how y'all know? Y'all see my slides? Okay, so why, right? It doesn't make sense. Like why though? Because they have the same content knowledge in the same exam. That means somehow Robert is better than Bob, right? In some skills. Cannot be content because they have the same content knowledge. Can y'all guess? I want you to throw out suggestions. What are those skills that Robert is better than Bob at? Guess. Application questions, okay. Answering techniques, yeah, okay. What else? Time management? Who thinks time management maybe is better, right? Yeah, okay. Those are the kind of skills that I want to teach you today. Because if you have the same content knowledge as your other classmates, but they don't have these exam skills, then, yeah, you know what will happen. So, are you ready? So, these exam hacks that I'm going to teach you today will increase your grades without any extra studying, okay? Who will like that? Increase grades without studying. Who will like that? I think everyone will like that, right? But disclaimer is, see, look at this graph. If you study X, you get blue score, right? But if you add exam hacks, you get extra. Now, if you study X plus 10, then you increase your blue score, your base, okay? So, these hacks will help you, but studying more will still increase your potential score. So, please don't take this as an excuse not to study. All right. The contents of today, what I'll go through is time management secrets. So many of you requested this. You know, in the form when you signed up, right? There was a part of questions, you want to ask questions, and a lot of you put time management. So this is what I'll cover the most. OEQ hacks. Who hates OEQs? Who thinks like, you know, one of your worst enemies? Yeah, okay. So I'll give you some hacks for that, the most important ones. Now, how to survive the day of the exam. A lot of teachers and tuition centers don't teach this because, I don't know, but I'll help you, okay? I'll teach you something about it. And lastly, I'll leave you with the winning mindset. Okay, so there was this time in JC where I got overconfident with an exam. And guess what? It's a bio exam because I was usually quite good at bio. I think it was JC2, mid-years of prelims. Then I opened the paper, right? And I was like, oh, it's so easy. Then I flipped the next question. Oh, it's a joke. And then I was just so overconfident. So I was just like, doing it slowly, take my own sweet time, right? Then I look at the clock. Whoa, it's like so little time left and I got half the paper left. So I had to rush like mad. And then that taught me a very painful lesson. I managed to finish, but it was a mad rush. I didn't check and low quality answers because I rushed, right? That taught me a painful lesson, which is never take your own sweet time. Never. Always have a constant sense of urgency. So if you just have this one thing, a constant sense of urgency during the paper, even if it's an easy paper, it will solve most of your time management problems. Okay, most will be solved if you just have this. So this was me. When you don't have time to finish, but you're still writing slowly. This was me. Don't be like that. Okay, running out of time. I'm sure everyone has faced this before, right? Now tell me, when you run out of time, is this you? You just continue doing the paper as fast as possible in the same order. So like question 4, 5, 6. Who does this? Just don't be shy. Do you do this when you running out of time? Yeah, you just continue, right? It's default. It's the natural thing to do. I understand. But what about the high mark questions near the end? You know, at the end of paper 2, there are so many like essay questions, right? Yeah, so if you continue in this order, what if you finish but you leave out the last one? Then how? Die. You lose 10 marks or 11 or something. So how do we actually prioritize? That's what I'll answer here. The answer is do the ones that are the most bang for your buck. How do you know what's that? Okay, it's also known as the high value questions. So what are the traits? Okay, this is the formula for it. Value of a question is how many marks is allocated plus how fast can you do it. Why? Because if it's like 4, 5 marks, 6 marks, right? If you do it, you grab so many marks. Then how fast is because you can get it in as short time as possible. So if you have combine these two, means the question is very high value. Let's do an exercise. Okay, look at this. Do you think it's a high or low value question? Okay, who says high? Raise your hand. Who says is low value question? Raise your hand. So some people say low. Okay, let's analyze, right? 3 marks. I can get 3 marks, right? I just write very fast. Ovary, oviduct, cervix. 45 seconds, including the thinking, right? So super good. If I'm running out of time, I must do these kind of questions. What about this? Okay, I'll let you read. It's a typical commonly asked question of blood clotting, right? So CAQ. Okay, who says high? Who says low value? Oh, you're catching on. Okay, so the answer is low because 3 minutes is around a 3 to 4 mark answer, this CAQ, but they only give you 2 marks. What a scam, right? It's a scam. But sometimes examiners do this. You kind of have no choice but to only get 2 marks when you're writing a long answer. So, yeah, low value. Okay, trash. Now this one, which MCQ is higher value? The top or bottom? Who says the one at the top? Who says the one at the bottom is higher value? So the one at the top, 1 mark, right? Because all MCQs are 1 mark. 30 seconds can do already. If you have studied 30 seconds. The other one, 1 mark also, 3 minutes. Or maybe even more if you don't know how to do the question, right? The one at the top is higher value, okay? The one at the bottom is low. So remember this in MCQs. Although like not enough time is rare in MCQ paper. But if you do run out of time, remember, all questions are the same 1 mark. So there's no point going for a very hard question when you can go for an easy one. This one, graph question. Who thinks it's high value? Put down your hand. So many people think it's high value. Put down your hand. Okay, so the answer is, this is 4 marks, right? For this graph. But then you need to draw best fit line, erase, wrong, erase again, best fit line, right? It might take 10 to 15 minutes. So very, very low value. So if you're running out of time, please skip the graph question. Just this first part, you can skip this first part. But all the other A, B, C will be below, right? You can still do what? Because it's based on the data up there. So summary of skipping questions. Okay, who here knows you always cannot finish the paper 2-1 for paper 2 bio? That you very frequently, you know it happens. Okay, if you know it happens, right, you can start the paper off in reverse. So you open from the back and then you do the high mark questions at the back to make sure you get those first. Okay, you can choose to do that if you want. If you're running out of time, make sure to scan through the rest and then do the the highest value questions first. Don't do in chronological order. Yeah, then you just be like Bob. Okay, what's the hell, Elmo, down there, right? It's because this is optional. You can sacrifice low value questions on purpose, even though you seem to have time. I've done this before. So it was, I think, JC prelim bio paper. There was this question, 3 marks, genetic diagram, full genetic diagram, and only 3 marks. Then I was like, oh, this is such a scam. So I just skip it, I don't care. And then I did the rest, and I finished the last question on the dot. So I had no time to check it. So imagine if I didn't skip that, right, what would happen? I would have lost so much time doing that low value question, and then I would have lost like 9 marks of questions of marks elsewhere. It was a good call to sacrifice on purpose. Next, another thing about increasing your time management skill is write faster. Because if you write faster, you finish faster, then no problem, right? You finish your paper better. I want to hear what are your tips. So if I ask you for tips, how can I increase my writing speed? What will y'all say? Handwriting. Goodbye handwriting. What else? Use a light pen. Oh, that means like it's easy to write because it's okay. Gel pen, yeah. Thinner tip. Wow, okay, good one. Okay, so thinner tip pen. What about writing smaller? Do you think it will help write smaller? Yeah. Okay. All these things are legit. Good job, but it's not the best. You know what's the best? So you can use a better pen, write smaller. The best one is, hey, why no one say okay, maybe my students know. Reduce word count. Because if you can write less but everything stays the same, you'll finish faster, agree? So I'm going to show you how to reduce your word count. First, remove everything that's not answering the question, including all the so-called background info. Okay, remove. If it's not answering the question, you will not get marks. This is a real example from one of my students' homework. And you can see, right, the question asks day 2 to 16. Describe, explain the CO2 concentration. Then look at the first paragraph, day 0 to 2. That's out of the scope of the question, right? So instantly, it's irrelevant, 0 marks already. You understand? So don't kiasu. Don't anyhow write just for the sake of it if it's not answering the question. Okay, next, don't repeat stuff you already explained. For Sec 4 Pure Bio, this is a common one that will come out that you might waste your time repeating. Okay, Sec 3s, I know the syllabus change. You don't have to elaborate so much anymore. So see, if you talk about CO2 getting excreted, so you can say the whole process about carbonic anhydrase all the way until it becomes HCO3 minus, which is bicarbonate ion. Then goes to the lungs, the reverse happens, right? And you explain everything in reverse. That's a waste of time. Because you already explained it once at the start. You already demonstrated to the marker, you know the content you studied. So if you explain again at the end, just in reverse, you're not adding value to the answer. You just write the same thing again. Okay, you can get brownie points, but you won't get extra marks. So just say the green words. Okay, I'll read it for you. Instead of saying all that, right, just say, oh, at the lungs, reverse process occurs. Bicarbonate ions get converted back to CO2. Done. Paraphrase to become more concise. See, if you say rate of photosynthesis, you can actually just say photosynthesis rate. You save one word. Water potential of mesophile cells is lower than water potential of xylem. You can change it to than that of the xylem. Y'all see this in the question itself, right? They usually ask it in the question. So I copied that. I learned it from the questions. Yeah, I didn't come up with this myself. So it can save you a lot of words throughout the paper. Therefore, it's such a long word. Why don't you just write so, S-O. Decreases, you can write falls. Increases, you can write rises. Okay? So paraphrase. Use your English skills. Now, drop connecting words. So I'm just going to contradict myself. Just now I say English skills. Now we're going to care nothing at all about English. See this? This is the CAQ for after fertilization events. Okay, you don't need to read it, but I'll show you what I did in the red words. So the red words are after I drop all the words except those who are necessary. So I'll read for you. After fertilization, zygote move from oviduct to uterus by peristaltic action of oviduct walls and sweeping action of cilia. Zygote divide by mitosis into embryo. Embeds in uterine lining during implantation, develop into fetus. Okay, just look at the third point. Okay, compare it to the formal way of writing, which embeds itself into the uterine lining. Then you read this. Embeds in uterine lining. You see that? So this trick, I've used it so many times in my own exams. I just drop all the words that are not absolutely necessary. So do I still retain the keywords? Yes. Do I still get a full mark? Yes. If it's English, no, I'll get so many errors. But it's bio? Yes, full marks. Okay, it's not English exam. So desperate times, desperate measures. So there's time management hacks. Now I'm going to move on to OEQ hacks. Okay, the one you've been waiting for. So first, right, I want to demonstrate the power of the CAQs. Okay, the commonly asked questions. Now if you still don't have it, you can download it by scanning that QR code. Okay, it's free. Okay, this is TYS 2014 paper 2, right? And I chose it because it's a perfect example of CAQs being used over and over again. So if I scroll down, I look at the first question. Imagine I open the paper. Define the term excretion, explain its importance. If you are a student who has studied the CAQs well, the CAQs are the commonly asked questions, right? Then, oh look, see, define excretion, state its importance. This is the answer exactly. So if you have studied this, when you open this, right, you'll be like, oh, easy. Okay, but don't be like me. Don't be like, oh, take my own sweet time. Don't do that. Yeah, just because it's easy. Math question. Okay, state question, easy. Describe, explain how reduced secretion of ADH affect composition of urine. So less ADH. Okay, who says when I drink more water then less ADH? Raise hand. When I drink more water. Come on, be sure of your answer. When I drink more water, is it less ADH? Okay, now put down. Now who thinks it's less? If I drink less water, then I'll have reduced ADH. So those who didn't raise hand just now is less water. So the answer is when I drink more water. The water you drink and the ADH are opposites. Just think of them as opposites. So if I drink more water, I'll have less ADH produced or secreted. Okay. So why did I ask that, right? It's because I need to reference the CAQs. So if I look at drink too much water or drink more water, let's go and find it. This is the explanation. ADH is over here, right? See less ADH, what happens? Collecting ducts, blah, blah, blah. So if I had studied this, I will skip the first point because the question asks directly about less ADH. So I'll just go straight to this is I'll copy this, right? I mean, of course, you don't bring this in an exam, but I'll copy from my head because I've studied it and I'll paste it in here. See, 3 marks, 3 points. Free, right? 5 out of 7 free marks. Okay, look at this. Liver, right? Breaks down alcohol. Okay, math question, primary school level. And then short-term and long-term impacts. Oh, where do we find that? Liver is nutrition in humans, right? Digestion. So let's look at CAQs. Liver, alcohol. Look, effects of alcohol, short-term, long-term, right? So just copy-paste, again, 3 marks. Okay, I could go on. I actually did a whole YouTube video on this. I think it's called the Unbelievably Simple Formula to Ace Bio. It's quite a recent YouTube video. So if you watch that, I go through this paper and I do a lot more examples. Who here has studied the CAQs properly, diligently? Raise your hand, you're the heroes. Come on, who has studied this? Hey, my own students, I never raise hand. Okay, if you have not, then now you know the power of it, okay? Yeah, this is one of the best tips I can possibly give you for open-ended questions. Like, imagine this. The teacher comes to you, right? And then let's say you're the teacher's favorite student. And the teacher's like, hey, you know the exam coming up? I'll let you study answer key, okay? If the teacher gave you that, that'd be so like cheating, right? Because it's like, hey, study answer key. Of course, I'll get the exam amazing marks. That's what this is. CAQs are basically like an answer key. So if you can study the answer key, why wouldn't you? Okay, the next thing I want to show you guys is the FIRED checklist. So what does it stand for? F stands for what is the focus of the question. That means what topic is it testing? I is the irreplaceable or the keywords that must be there. And they're always linked to the type of topic that's being tested there. R, relevance. I already mentioned this just now. E is elaboration. A lot of you are very fast because you're very smart. You already know the content. So you like to jump many steps. But the examiners need you to show them step by step. Handhold them, okay? Imagine they're a dumb little kid and you need to handhold them, show them your entire thought process. D for depth. How deep do you explain? Because I can keep explaining until it's a 20-mark essay, right? But it might only be a 6-mark question. Okay, let's use an example to show this. Okay, I'll let you read this. Now, put yourself in the setter's shoes. What is the topic? What chapter? Shout it out. What chapter? Ecology is the answer. Okay, what is the subtopic? Subtopic is non-cyclic energy flow. It's about the flow of energy in the ecosystem, up the food chain, right? So why do I care about this? So that I can think, okay, what are all the keywords related? And then I'll spam them in my answer. Now, for this kind of question, it's a wide scope and it's high marks. I will not just start writing. It's a bad idea. Even when I was setting this and like typing the model answers, making it for my students, right? I also had to plan it. Like, I cannot just suddenly type the whole thing straight away. I made a small drawing here like that. And the drawing is trying to help me see what my answer will be. You can do this yourself in the exam, or you can write just bullet points at the side to draft your plan. Okay, but I have a conundrum. I need you guys to help me. Should I say plant, right, is eaten by the human straight away? Okay, so I'll walk you through, right? Sun, light energy, photosynthesis in the plant. Human eat plant. Glucose goes into our bodies. We digest and absorb. Goes in our blood. Goes in our mitochondria. Aerobic respiration, energy for active transport. Okay, I could say that way, or I can make it a bit longer. I can say plant is eaten by animal, then we eat the animal. So which one should I use? The first one, plant to human, or the animal? Okay, who says the first one? Okay, who says the second one? Come on, be sure I answer. Who says that I need to say the animal one? Both are correct, by the way. Both will get you full marks. But I would choose the one on top. Because you see, if you look at the depth of this answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've enough points already. Why do I need to add an extra point about the animal? I'm just writing extra. So if you don't understand that, because you didn't compare the mark allocation, you'll be writing too much in your answers. You'll be wasting time. Okay, so I'll choose the first one. Next, this is the model answer that I made. And then you can see our carbon compounds. Why do I use those keywords? Because they're related to ecology, especially this subtopic. So this is how we use the checklist on our own selves when we're doing open-ended questions. Now, I'll give you another very powerful open-ended question tip, which my classmate in Sec 3 4 taught me. He didn't exactly teach me, but kind of an accident that I learned it. This guy is not very good at bio exams. One day, he got second or first in class. And I was so shocked. I was like, what? This guy? So I asked him, can I see your paper? I want to learn his secret, right? So I looked at his paper and I looked at his answers. Okay, every time there's 2 lines, right? They give you 2 lines to write. He write 4 lines. Every time there's 4 lines, he write 6 lines. Every time there's 6 lines, he write 8 lines. And then I was just like, oh, okay, he's just writing a lot. And then as I was flipping through, he said, Keith, you want to know the secret for bio? The secret is just spam. And then I was just thinking to myself, this cannot be the way, man. Like, my hand will die. The answer is not just spam. Why it worked for him, he's thrown so much stuff on the wall, a lot of things stuck. But you can be smarter. You can just choose the relevant keywords to spam. Don't spam everything, just spam the relevant keywords. Then it will have high chance of hitting the mark scheme. Look at these 2 chicken rice. Now, imagine they are the same price, Same price. Who will buy the one on the left? Raise your hand. It's okay, we have different preferences. Who will buy the one on the right if they're the same price? The right. Okay, why do you all want the one on the right? Why? More proteins. Yes, right? More chicken, right? More meat, right? This is you when you write a lot of fluff. When you write a lot of unnecessary words and they are not keywords. The keywords are like the meat. Then all the fluff is the rice and the cucumbers. So the marker, right, when they see, they'll be like, not worth to give you the mark. But if they see a student who has spammed relevant keywords, it's like, wow, so much meat, very worth. Then they will give you the mark. They'll feel worth it to give you the mark. Make them feel like that. Okay, now I want to move on to another problem we have. What if you don't know how to do a question, even though you studied? Who has met this problem? Say, just raise your hand. I want to see if you met this problem. That means you know the content of the question already, but you still cannot do because it's just weird. Have right? Okay. So last year, prelim question for my students, they told me this problem that they had with one of these questions. Read it. Explain why humans need lungs. It's so simple, right? It's like, duh, I know lungs, I understand. But they just couldn't phrase it properly in words. I'll give you this trick if you don't know how to start. Imagine a P1 kid is asking you this question. Why humans need lungs? lungs. And it's very young and very dumb, doesn't know anything. What is the simplest answer you give the kid? What will y'all say? To breathe, very good, to breathe. Exactly. So the answer is to breathe. So now imagine the kid keep asking you why. Because it's very dumb, right? So it's asking why. Why do you need to breathe? What y'all say? Breathe what? Okay, I heard oxygen. Okay, so you could say air, and then air contains oxygen, right? Okay, why do we need oxygen? Okay, I heard respiration. Aerobic, yes, aerobic is the right one. Okay, to be more specific. So aerobic respiration. Why do we need that? What's so good about it? For fun? Energy. Good. Why do we need energy though? For fun? Make lightning. Yes, cellular activity is very good. You have just generated a point from nothing by asking yourself why and why as if it's a dumb P1 kid asking you, okay? So yeah, 1 mark done. Okay, let's continue. We have 3 marks though. The P1 kid asks you this. Why not we just have a big balloon? Why do we have lungs? What's so special about the lung structure, right? So you say, alveoli? Very good, alveoli. There are many of them. Why? It makes the lungs have a high, SA to V, correct. Surface area to volume ratio. Don't just say surface area. For faster gaseous exchange, right? But why? Why need to be so fast? Can get oxygen in faster. Why not take our own sweet time? We'll die. Why will we die? Because humans have a high energy demand, okay? High metabolic rate. So if you take your own sweet time, you'll die. Just like me, writing, take my own sweet time in exam, overconfident, then almost died, right? So yeah, 3 marks done. Use this trick on yourself, okay? If you don't know how to start answering the question, but you know you kind of have the content, just use this method. And don't worry if it sounds dumb. Don't worry if you cannot get to the end point. If you only write halfway, you might still get some credit. Some keywords might hit. Okay, all good? It's been useful so far? Yes? Okay, awesome. Now, I'm going to show you surviving exam day. What to do. 1 to 2 days before. I would do this if I were you. I'll look at all my past mistakes and corrections because I've done it myself and notice I have a pattern of making the same mistakes again and again. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this experience and you tell me if it happened to you, okay? So it was a few days before my exam and I look at my file, you know, a very thick file of all the school worksheet, right? Then I look through my past mistake. I saw one of the mistakes and then I saw the correction. And then I was like, wait, I just did this in a practice paper like a few days ago. Then I got so frustrated at myself because why is it that after 6 months of that worksheet, I did a practice paper and I still made the same exact mistake? So who has done that? Who has seen that happen to you before? Yeah, experienced that frustration, right? It's like, oh, why I thought I learned something for 6 months? No. So this shows why it's actually very important to review your corrections. Review your practice papers you've been doing because you might just make the same mistake again in the real exam. Look through the CAQs. Make sure you know all of the CAQs. If you're my student, I'll tell you to look through our memory shortcuts, memorize all of them also. Okay, sleep early. Why? Who here has faced the issue, right, where it's exam-induced insomnia the night before? Because you know there's an exam the next day, right? Take very long to fall asleep. Yeah? Before today, right? Before I came here, last night when I was sleeping, I also had this problem because I was like, oh, today I'm going to talk, you know, and it's like so many people. I also had the same problem. So how do you solve this? Just sleep extra early so that even if you take very long to fall asleep, no problem, right? Because, oh, look, I wasted 1 hour tossing and turning. I still got 8 hours more. You kind of like laugh at this in the face. Now, the day of the exam, go to school extra early to feel prepared. Okay, I'm sure your parents tell you this also, right? Recall all the memory shortcuts along the way to school. Don't be too detailed because when you're on the train or in the car or something, you don't have that much time, right? So just recall what does each letter stand for. Like, you know, just now fired, what's F, you know, I, what's like that. Good enough. Who drinks coffee in the morning? It's okay, no problem. Just tell me. Okay, cool. So, be careful. Don't drink too much because it makes you pee and shit, unfortunately. Yeah, it happened to me before. It happened to my friend also. My friend told me the story of like he was in a major exam, then nature calls, and then like wastes a lot of his time, okay? Avoid food coma. Who has faced this in an exam before? That the food coma gets you, especially afternoon exams, right? After lunch. So how to solve the problem? Eat less, especially less carbohydrates. So for lunch today, before I came here, I chose something which had a lot of vegetables and less carbohydrates because I didn't want to be sleepy, right? Go toilet more than once before the exam. Now let's say you enter the exam hall. What do? Start arranging everything. You know, there's a lot of waiting time, right? Doing nothing, right? Then they're just like walking slowly, giving out the paper slowly. Have, right? Then your heart starts beating faster and faster during this time because there's nothing to do. So action cures fear. That's why if I were you, I'll take out my water bottle. I'll put on the right because I'm right-handed. And I won't put under my table. If not, I kick it. Then it'll spill. Then I'll put my jacket behind. I'll put my paper. I'll slant it because I like to write at a slight angle, right? I mean, everyone does that, right? Slight angle. Yeah, I'll slant it so that it's ready to write. I'll take my pen. I'll put it so that it's very easy to pick up. Then actually before they start, right, on the pen already because I'm getting ready to start on the pen. Okay, then I'll put the ruler, eraser, if you want to use correction tape, I'll put the main things at the top, easy to access. So you prepare everything, you know, enzyme, optimum temperature, highest rate, right? Optimum pH. So you make your environment optimum also. It helps. Then when they say start writing, everyone's like, okay, take out. Then you are just, boom, start because you are everything prepared. Who has faced panic in an exam before? No matter it's like small severity or high severity. Who has faced? I faced it before because I was running out of time and then I was just like, come on, think, brain, think. I cannot think. Yeah, so it happens, right? Then get a mental block. So there's a solution, okay, which is this breathing technique. When you breathe in for 4 counts through your nose, you hold for 5 counts, and then you breathe out through your mouth for 8 counts. This is a trick that literally commands your nervous system to calm down, alright? Now, when that happened to me, right, in the exam, and I was like panicking, what I did was not exactly this, but similar. I told myself, okay, calm down. I can do it. Then a few seconds later, okay, I finally can start thinking again, right? Sometimes we need to take 1 step back before we can take 2 steps forward. Shall we try the breathing technique now? Because I know it's like, what is this yoga nonsense? But it works, okay? It works. And it helps you. And I don't think school teaches you this. So let's try it now, okay? So you can see whether it works. Just follow me. We'll do 2 cycles. Okay, breathe in through your nose. Hold. And out. Okay, breathe in. Hold. Out. Okay, how do you feel now? Everyone feels calmer, right? More peaceful, right? More at rest. Because your diaphragm actually commands your nervous system on how to feel, whether to panic, fight or flight, or to calm down. So there's a sympathetic and parasympathetic, yes. Okay, but you don't have to learn that. That's not in O level. Okay, now the paper starts. What do you do? See the bottle there? Drink water lah. But don't keep drinking for the sake of it, because you'll pee. Waste time. Instead, only drink when you're thirsty. Your body is telling you that your water potential has gone down, right? That's why you're thirsty. Okay, so then you drink. Because your cells are made of 70% water and your brain will not function well. Okay, when you go toilet, waste of time, right? How do you make it less of a waste of time? What I will do is this, I would be like, oh, very urgent already. Need to go. Then I'll be like, quickly, I need to see your question. Okay, then I read a question. Okay, I'll use that. So I will remember the question and think about it on the way so that I'm not completely wasting my time. Hold the question in your mind so you don't waste time. So I want to leave you guys with the winning mindset. Okay, be honest. Who is afraid that even if you try hard and study hard, you still cannot do well for some reason? Like something wrong will happen, right? Okay, yeah. I'm sure we all feel, some or most of us feel that. But I want to prove to you, give some evidence that A1 really is easy for bio. Why? There are no tedious math calculations. Every time I was like, hey, primary school question, primary school math, right? Because it really is. Okay, so this is one reason why bio is easy. Another reason, okay, who likes humanities here? Who consider, yeah, you're a humanities person? Yeah, humanities. Okay, see all these people raise their hand, right? These are the weirdos. Nah, just kidding. Okay, but you can tell I don't like humans because there are no definite answers. But bio has definite answers. If you hit the right keyword, you will get the mark for sure. Okay, this is why bio is easy. Okay, still don't think you can do it. I'll give you more evidence, okay? So see, one of my students last year she was scoring D7, C6 the whole way. How do you think she feels the whole way? She's like quite depressing, right, to score that the whole time. So the O level probably gonna be the same, but she got A1 for some reason. So I was also very surprised. I asked her, how do you do it? What's your secret? And then she said, well, she just studied really hard for the last month. That shows me that she was basically slacking the whole year, right? Which is true. Most people do that. Then when it's the deadline, like a big exam, then we start mugging really hard. But that shows something, that she did not believe in herself. She did not expect herself to get that grade. But it was in her all this time. If only she had just studied properly the whole year, right? I'll give you another real life scenario. My JC friend, near the A levels, it was after his prelim. His grades were all E, S, and U. You know what's E? Is already below 50%. Then S and U are also much below. All fail lah. What is he gonna get for A level? Probably fail also, right? Retain lah. Okay, but he got a super good score, a huge improvement. So out of 90 rank points is the best score, okay? Then he got like 85 or 87. That means all are A except maybe a few Bs. So that was an insane improvement for this guy. Think about it, right? His friends, classmates, teachers, parents, himself, all don't believe he will get that grade, right? Throughout the whole 2 years of JC. But he did it. So I want to show you again that we always underestimate ourselves. We have such great potential. If you actually try hard, it is going to give you insane results. Okay, last example. My example. Can you guess what I'm doing here? Yes. Come, raise your hand if you have a guess. This is an electric piano, but I'm not playing the piano right now. Okay, I've put a cover over it. What am I doing on top? Study. What do you think? I'm like writing something. Come, my students, you want to guess? Planning lesson. Okay, I was actually teaching lesson on this. So right, it's such a crappy setup, I know. That is a Surface Pro 7. Don't buy it, it's trash. Buy iPad, okay? I was like teaching on it. Okay, why do I teach on a piano? Why not on my table, right? Because my room is very far from the Wi-Fi, so I cannot teach properly on Zoom, right? So I buy a Wi-Fi repeater already, still cannot. Still very bad connection. On my desk, it's horrible. So the only way that I can properly teach my students is I need to move myself closer to the door. There's this piano, right? And so I teach on the piano as if it's my desk. So it's a horrible setup. I mean, but this is the humble beginnings of that bio tutor. Okay, it started like that. This was my grand plan to become a tutor because I saw how other people, a lot of other tutors, this is the path that they took. So I thought I would go through the same thing, right? They will get their degree. And so if I get a bio degree, at age 24, I'll get a bio degree. Then to go to MOE, you need to go through this thing called NIE first to become a teacher. At age 26, I'll finish. Then I'll stay there for 4 to 5 years, like most of the tutors do before they quit. And then when they quit, then I can start that bio tutor, right? At age 32. So this is what was my plan of like what will happen, okay? But what happened in reality is, I started teaching since the A-level year. Okay, during the A-levels, of course, I stopped teaching lah, too busy. Yeah, so I started teaching since then. And then that bio tutor is already alive, right? It's already up and running by this age, 20 or 21. So why do I tell you guys this? It's not to like brag or something. But you know, this isn't possible by me alone. Because I definitely didn't do this alone. This was possible because of, guess who? Because of all of you, right? Especially my students. Yeah. Because if you think about it, right? This thing is what society expects of me, right? Of what society expects of most people. But this was my dream, right? It's all in my head. But in order to make it into reality, it needed support. And you guys are literally the support. Each of you, each follower that I have, each like that you guys give, each share that you guys share on my post, you are literally brick by brick building my dream from just a dream into reality. So, okay, I just want to say thank you. And this is one of the reasons why I'm holding this for free. Okay, like in total, I'm going to spend like almost 1K, I think, on this event, and I'm not getting anything in return, right? Because I'm not charging for it. But think of it as a way to give back and say thank you for all the support that you guys have given. Because it really has built my dream, and without you, it wouldn't exist at all. I really mean that. So yeah, thank you, especially to my students, right, for dealing with me. So I have a lot to learn, and yeah, but my students are very nice. They deal with my incompetencies despite me needing to learn a lot more. So these 3 stories, right, of my past student, of my JC friend, and then of my story, all shows us one thing. We always underestimate ourselves. Always. So those who just now raise your hand, you think, oh, even if you study hard, something will screw up. Something will cause you to not score well. You really are better than you think, okay? And you guys believed in me more than I believed in myself, right? You did. So I want to give you back the favor. I want to return the favor back. So I believe in you guys more than you believe in yourself now. Even though you're students, I think what separates us from other tuition centers or other teachers is that even though you're students, I still treat y'all with high levels of respect because I know how great the potential is within you. Because I've been there, I've underestimated myself, I've seen my students underestimate themselves, and I know you're underestimating yourself also, okay? I know that. So that's why I believe in you. So whatever that exam is at the end of the year, O levels, right, for most of you, or for the Sec 3's EOIs, then I just want to wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you.